Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I am Sam Springer, joined as always by my guy JW Shannon. JW, how are
Hey
we
guys, we're
this
doing
week?
good, bud.
Well, it was a tale of two games last week when
Yeah,
the Pirates traveled to Herod. JW, the first half, we talked about it on the broadcast. Uh, the first 22 minutes of the game was or 20, maybe 22 and a half minutes. Like
yeah,
it was literally down to almost halftime. The Pirates were kicking the ball to Allen East, up only 14-13, and Allen East was going to get a chance. They were playing pretty well, and then they muffed the punt, and that was kind of where it just kind of fell off the face of the earth for them. We recovered very quickly, scored on two plays. The very next play from scrimmage, they fumbled the ball again.
yeah,
We recovered it and scored in just a few plays, and then right before halftime, about 40 seconds I think was left, and this
yeah,
all happened in game time wise from about 2 minutes and 15 seconds to what I think we kicked the field goal with maybe 6 or 7 seconds left in the
yeah,
half or
yeah.
something,
Basically, yeah, 17 points in
in about a minute
less than
and
two and a half
45
minutes. Yeah, yeah,
seconds of game time. And three turnovers really quick. We talked about that prior to or during the pregame show. JW, you
yeah,
mentioned forcing some turnovers would be key, and that turned out to be exactly what happened because we didn't force any more turnovers the second half, and we outscored them 14-0 in the second
yeah,
half. But by then it was 14-13 with 2.5 minutes left in the half to 31-13 at the half.
yeah. That was just crazy. That was quite a series of events there.
It was, and it didn't seem like they didn't make huge mistakes other than the punt muff. We
Right.
forced those other two fumbles um, to get the ball back, and so I'm looking at the stats here, JW, and I mean, total plays, we only had 10 more plays than them in the
Right.
game. Total yards, now it's a little bit deceiving because passing yards for us is 174 to their 126, but they
Yeah.
had 63 of them on one pass play.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, the one long pass, I mean, we shut them down pretty nicely, I
Mhm.
thought.
And then I mean, shoot, you take that down and eliminate that pass, and it's like a 174 to 60 some passing
Sure.
yards. So
Yeah.
definitely a better looking game. I'll be interested to talk to Coach Richards about the his take of the game, because I'm sure as a coach, us as fans and broadcasters, we see things, but maybe we're not looking at the things that they see, that maybe really didn't go as smoothly as maybe we thought they
Right.
did.
Yeah.
But it really did. We had a really good rushing game. We had 204 yards rushing,
Yeah.
which is one of our better games. Third down efficiency wasn't as good as it was the last week against Fort Loramie, but 5 of 11, it's not horrible. I mean it's less than 50%. Don't get me wrong; it's not great,
Yeah,
but
but
it could have been worse.
we didn't have a ton of third down situations just because of the fact that we move the ball pretty well usually.
Right,
But
right.
but yeah,
Three
we
turn.
we yeah we have been doing a little better on that.
We did clean up the penalties. Only two penalties
Yes,
for 5 total yards.
yeah, that was
All
that
in
was
all, though,
nice.
it was a pretty clean game because there were only five total turn or penalties
Yeah,
the whole
yeah. Allen
game.
East played a nice clean game too.
So, if you think about this game, JW, what was the thing that you walk away from like, yeah, that was the most impressive part about this game?
Um, I think our defense is coming together
Mm-hmm.
better and better. We still got a couple spots that the other teams can take a little bit of advantage of, it seems like, but I think we were meshing as a team more. And I think with some of the injured players being back, some of the young guys having some good experience now, I think that defense is going to just continue to get better each game.
Yeah, well, and our Riley Creek Sportswear Player of the Game, Zayden Morales, he had a pretty darn good game, and we
Yeah,
had
he
him
really
down for
did.
our stats. We had him for what was it, 7 tackles, maybe a tackle for loss, and
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sack. I'm looking at the official huddle results. He had three or wait, no, that's receive. No, that's right. Um, 3 solos, 6 assists, 2 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss. So
right.
we
Yeah,
actually didn't have him for all of the stats that he came through. So
right.
very, very well deserved. There were some good performances on Friday, but we really felt that he kind of stepped it up during that game
Yeah, and
to get that.
that's the first we really called his name a lot. So I mean, just the improvement he's had over this year is
Right.
amazing.
It's
So
not the first time we've called it, but it's the first time we've called it as much as we
yeah,
did.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
really showed up for the games, and yeah, well deserved.
Yeah, yeah, and not the greatest of passing games for Tate Gieske percentage wise. He was 12 of 22, which there were a couple of drops in there
Yeah,
that unfortunately go as against the quarterback because it's an incompletion. But
yeah,
that's on the receivers, really, kind of like in interceptions that hit the hands of the
sure.
receivers and go
Yeah,
into the
and
in the
I mean, yeah, we've seen better, and we were off
sure.
one just a little. Our timing seemed to be off just a little bit off, but that actually improved too as the game went on. So
I was going to say that.
another really good game by Tate.
Yeah, 165 yards, 3 touchdown passes, a long
Yeah,
of 57. The one we did pull out the play that we scored on against Fort Loramie, Leighton Miller.
hmm
Passing it to Tate Gieske for only a gain of 9, but it was effective, and I think that
yeah,
that is the key. Is we're not necessarily getting it to be gimmicky, like Coach is always saying. We're not doing it to
yeah,
be gimmicky. We're doing it because we think it can work. It's
right,
not
yeah,
it's not a we're in desperate times,
yeah.
so let's pull it out. It's
Well, and
let's play
they
it when it can work.
yeah, and then they repaid the favor to us pretty quickly,
Yeah, the very
which was
next
when the game
drive.
was still in question. But
Yeah,
after
well, yeah,
that, yeah,
we were up 14-7 and they got the ball back, and that's when they got
yeah,
their 63-yard pass play. Was a halfback sweep pass, and
yeah.
I tell you, they have some athletes on that team at Allen East
They
that
really do, and yeah, their size too. I mean, I think they're going to be something to reckon with for the next couple of years here.
quite possibly. They were 11 of 18, so they had a little bit of a better percentage than we did
hmm
passing wise, but long of 63. But that those are two different people passing it, I guess. So 10 of
Yeah,
17 was their starter, was
yeah,
their actual
yeah.
quarterback. But Parker Level over the century mark yet again, 20
All right.
rushes for 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. So a really effective game on the ground for the Pirates, and then especially for Parker.
Yeah, it's good to see Parker getting back to where he needs to be. He's still a little gimped up, but what a nice job he did, even playing through a little bit of pain the other night.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And Robbie Taylor, 5 tackles, solo tackles. So that was a
Yeah,
good game for him on his side. Javen Crawfus, 3 tackles, 7 assists. So he had a really effective game. Mason Shank, ever solid, always. 2 assists or 2 tackles, 5 assists, 1 sack, 1 for loss. So
yeah.
it was just overall a really good team effort when it came to taking down the Mustangs and kind of putting that upset bid. And don't get me wrong, it was for a half, but still they played with us. They played very
They played very
effectively for a
well.
half.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
played very well with us.
Yeah. So we move on and to this week, but we improved to 8-1. Maybe
Yeah,
not as good as what we hoped. I think we were hoping all in all be 9-0 going into Grove Week.
yeah, absolutely. But hey, the earlier season losses when you get to the playoffs, they don't matter.
Well, and they only make you stronger. I mean, it's the cliche of, it's not always a horrible thing to lose. You don't want to, but it's not always the worst thing to do.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So we moved to Grove Week this week. They pulled us a favor last week and took down
Yeah,
LCC to where this week. Not that it didn't already mean something, but it means even more now for us.
Absolutely, yeah. And Grove is always coming with their A game when they play Bluffton. So, I look for a good, hard-fought game this week, and hopefully we'll come out on the top of it.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead, take a quick break, step away. We'll bring Coach Richards in, talk about his thoughts on the game against Allen East last week, and then we will talk to him about this week's opponent. But for right now, let's take a break. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
With 27 years of experience and attention to detail, Angels Flooring provides many flooring services. Call 419-302-7151 for more information. Angels Flooring, serving Bluffton and surrounding areas since 2009.
Grove Systems in Bluffton is hiring for its 2026 apprenticeship class, where you attend road states for 2 days and train at Grove for 3 days during the week. Program covers tuition and pays you for 40 hours. Go to joingrove.com/apprentice for more information.
Axe Ventura is open every Thursday through Sunday with locations in Findlay and Bellefonte. Walk-ins are welcome, but reservations are recommended. Visit axeventura.com to book today. Axe Ventura, family-friendly fun focusing on the axe experience.
Lounge Media Group is a multimedia company that provides internet, radio broadcast, radio, and podcast services. Go to loungemediagroup.us for more information. Lounge Media Group, big city quality with a hometown price.
Hey neighbor, you're listening to Bluffton Pirates football on the Lounge Sports Network. Later, Gator. See you at church.
All right, we're back here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We are joined by the Pirates head coach, Jeff Richards. Jeff, thanks so much for coming back in with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so we were talking before you came on. This seemed like a game of two halves. It really did. Of 22 minutes and then the rest, the 26 remaining minutes. As a coach, how did that play out for you? Like, what was going through your mind? Not that you were panicking, but you should have been winning this game.
Yeah, well, it was frustrating a little bit there in the first half, just based on we knew what we were capable of and we knew what our standard is, and we knew we weren't doing what we should have done consistently. The first possession, they get the ball, we get them to 3rd and long. We know a screen's coming. They find a way to get it anyhow and convert. But we make them punt. We get the ball. We drive down and score, no problem. Everything's looking about as normal. We're looking good. Give up a touchdown, little things here and there. When we scored to go up 14-7, we warned them, like, this feels like a time where they're going to try something to get momentum.
Yeah.
Which they did, and it was breakdowns. It wasn't, anything athletic. It was just mental, not being focused, not doing their job, which is very frustrating. And then, offense kind of sputtered and we had to punt. Now, that punt ended up being kind of the spark we needed because they muffed the punt, and then floodgates opened. And we've told the kids, anytime a special teams play happens, that could be a turning point in the game. And that was kind of it, because after that one, we were able to kind of pile it on to where, I'm always flipping on the headset from defense to offense to make sure the whole staff's on the same page. And I found myself, on the defensive headset and then having to flip over real quick and say, okay, let's go score before half. And then we get the ball again. So I flip it over again, say, all right, have some plays ready, have the field goal team ready. So it was nice to see us, put up a lot of points really fast. And then also, to be able to do a field goal there at the end of the half, the kids are getting that. We practice it all the time. We practice fast field goal and things like that, but just being able to execute it is nice. And then for the second half to, get the ball and take care of business and get that running clock going was good.
Yeah.
With in that first half there, we were talking about the incompletions. Some of those drops go to the quarterback, but Ethan Springer had one. The angle we had, he catches that ball, he's still running to this time right now. Like, he might get clipped a little bit, but the angle, there was no good angle. He drops it. Then you have Kane Wright has one that's a little bit above his head, but every bit as catchable as any. Do you have to say anything to those players, or do they know, okay, I got to get out of that? That was an anomaly. Get over it. Get to the next play.
It's kind of a blend of things. They've heard enough from, I've for years, one of my kind of things that just drives me crazy is when someone pats their chest and say, that's my bad when they dropped a football. Don't tell me. Everybody knows it was your bad. You dropped it. So, we don't have to tell them hey, you dropped, they know they dropped it, but it's more of a, come on, we got to get the next one. We got to go from there. And the nice part for our guys is they understand, we can score fast. If we drop one, we got to move on to the next one. Tate does a really good job about, being with the guys there and them understanding, he's got their back with it. It's something, made a mistake, didn't focus on, focused on running before you actually caught the ball, little things like that. But, the pleasing part with that was we were making those mistakes and we were still winning.
Right.
And it's
recovered from them nicely. Yeah.
And it was good to have on film. And, our receivers were not pleased with how they played Friday night, and neither were we. But the good thing with it was we were able to still win, which is good. I think another obstacle for them, and that's something we always have to be, kind of worrisome about, is when you're a heavy favorite going into a game, that temptation of, the cliche, the trap game of, you're going in the team nobody's expecting to win, everybody's down on, you give them a chance to believe, and then they get all that momentum going. And that was kind of happening there in the second quarter, but we weren't ever really in doubt of things. It was more of, we had to kind of right the ship and get things going.
Yeah.
What about your defense really stood out this last week? Because, the trick play that they got burned on that happens. They give up one touchdown essentially this game, but they really did shut down a pretty athletic team on that offensive side at Allen East.
I think it's a blend. We got guys that are growing up before our eyes. We've got guys that, if you would have told me in August that they would be contributing as much as they are, and some of them are starting and performing at a high level, I would have been really confused about what you were telling me. But really what it is we've got guys that are getting healthy and coming back, and we've got guys that have gotten, important amounts of experience, and now they're contributing consistently. And we've got guys that, early to midseason, they were playing a lot more than they should have. And now they're in that role where they really belong, to where they don't have to be in all the time, and they can contribute for a handful of plays, get a break, come back in. And they're excelling with that. So I think it's a blend of things. I think they're getting better as a unit. A lot of it is, as a unit, you have to gel. From that 2023 and 2024 team, we had a lot of guys that were together for a very long time. You had, Quinn Eachus and Carson Cruzy. They were our back end. They were our safeties for 3 years. And you don't just magically replace that. So a lot of that is, you've got to get the experience. And once you get the experience, then you start doing well. And we started 8 underclassmen on both offense and defense Friday night. So we're a very young team right now, and they're starting to mature, which is nice for the future. We had to have some growing pains there defensively, especially early in the season, where we were figuring out our identity. But it seems like, as a group, they're really starting to come together.
Yeah, I think Sam and I talked about that, off air, even about how well they're they're meshing together. I know it's going to be the last game of the regular season, but I still think everybody's just getting a little bit better each week. Yeah, it's fun to watch. That's for sure.
Well, to go back really quick to the my bad, when I was coaching, it was baseball, I'd hear it, and I finally just got to the point where I was like, guys, I don't want to hear my bad ever again, because if it wasn't your bad, it would have been done right. So let's just correct it and move on.
Right.
No more my bads. No more. Right. Yeah. So you get kind of you hate saying you were rooting for, but you got the gift of LCC losing on Friday night. Were you watching that on the way home or trying to find out the information? I know when we talked, there was still 4 minutes left in the game. Were you trying to figure out, and what kind of all right, that puts even more on this week?
So yeah, we were keeping track of it all game. It's something we always kind of do during halftime is, we fix what we need to fix, and then we kind of have to kind of keep everything in perspective as we go. And halftime, in reality, it's a long time of, if you're not having to make a lot of corrections, and you're not having to fix stuff, there's a lot of dead time there. So we always kind of keep an eye on scores in the area and stuff like that. But as we got on the bus, was kind of LCC was driving there at the end, and we had the radio on in the bus just to listen to how it was going to go. And I had told the guys at Spartan Stadium that I said, hey, there's a good chance somewhere along the line this season LCC is going to slip up, and we're going to have an opportunity to still be conference champions. But you guys got to hold up your end and win the rest of these games, because we can't lose another one and expect to win the conference.
Yeah, this was your one right here.
And that was it. And they, that happened, and it was a solid game between both Grove and LCC. Came right down to the wire. But it was, it was a nice thing. Grove, Bluffton, that's all you really need to motivate the kids.
Correct.
With
Yes.
it. The history there is enough. But playing for a conference championship again, I mean, this is the third year in a row where, week 10, we're playing for a conference championship. This year it'd be to force a 3-way tie for it, but it's still, for that conference championship.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more exciting, especially, build up wise, for sure.
Sure. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll step away, take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk to Coach about the opponent this week. It's Grove Week. For crying out loud, it's Grove Week. That should be all you have to say, but you also throw in win, and you get a conference share of that conference championship as well. So we'll be right back. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Riley Creek Sportswear in Bluffton provides embroidery, screen printing, letter jackets, and more for any size group. Call 467-204-8621 for more information or a quote. Riley Creek Sportswear, your small-town, family-owned sportswear connection.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Southgate Lanes of Bluffton is open to the public and offers plenty of fun with sand volleyball, craft beer, and obviously food. Southgate Lanes, south of Bluffton on Main. Food's so good, you'd swear it's a restaurant.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Jason Cox can help you bundle your home and auto insurance today and save money with a State Farm personal price plan. Jason Cox State Farm. Go to jasonismyguy.com for more information.
Pirates look good on the gridiron, and Eikenberry Landscape keeps Bluffton looking good off the field. Design, install, maintain. With a great team and great clients, we get the job done. Call 419-205-0759 for more information or a quote. Eikenberry Landscape Company, proudly serving Pirate Country for all your landscaping needs.
Welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Joined by Coach Jeff Richards. Coach, it is week 10, final week of the season. It's Grove Week. It also can be a championship week as well. Like you said before the break, all you should have to say is Grove Week. But then you add that conference championship potential on there. It makes it for a pretty special event this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to be an exciting night. Clymer Stadium, it's a tough place to play, and I credit, their community because they make it a tough place to play.
Yeah,
they're going to have music blasting, their strobe lights going. They'll have their guys tailgating and stuff there. They have a great environment for games there for sure. I think with that, as close as our communities are in proximity, it's always well attended. Every year we play there, it's always a very good crowd. It's always a very exciting game too.
Yeah.
They started off really rough, 0-3, but you look at their schedule. They play a tough pre-conference schedule. How does that help, or how does that help them, I guess, get into that Northwest Conference? Even though they're 0-3, they look at, we still have a chance at this championship.
Well, I think a big part of it for them is week 1 to week 10, they are two completely different teams. That every year, it's something we always notice is that they continuously get better all season long, and they find their identity about that week 4 spot, and they really start rolling. And I think that's really a credit to their coaching staff. Coach Shavers, he has got a great staff, and they do a good job of finding what they're good at and then excelling at that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think when you have that tougher non-conference schedule, that kind of sets you up for success, especially early in your conference schedules, because you're used to playing those tougher teams. I think their week 1 loss to Pandora, that one came down to this week 1. That's also a rivalry game for them. They didn't play the best. They had some turnovers and some things, and Pandora played really well. When we played Pandora, we noticed some things on film with Grove, and it was kind of like, oh, they're going to fix that by the time we see them, because it's, and the same with us. When our game with Ben Logan, we looked real sloppy, and we didn't really execute very well. But then that being said, both Pandora and Ben Logan are playing pretty well this season. I mean, Pandora, I think, is for sure in the playoffs, and Ben Logan still fighting to be in the playoffs in Division 4. So, I think that non-conference schedule early on, I don't think it's a determining factor of how the season is going to go, but it definitely kind of gets you that opportunity to really find out what your team is good at and what your team has holes in, and then you have to grow from there. And they do a good job with that.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I was looking at their overall stats. They're a pretty solid defensive team. Like they have been in past years too, but it just seems like this year they're kind of hanging their hat on maybe that a little bit more than maybe the offensive side of the ball. Have you guys kind of seen that as well?
Well, they're always going to play tough defense. That's kind of their staple, is they're going to play tough physical defense, and they're going to limit you in a lot of areas. They've been very stingy in the run game.
Yeah.
And in the pass game too, they keep getting better. They've got some really talented and athletic guys. They've got a really good linebacker. They've got some good guys on defensive line, and their secondary, if you put the ball up and it's a 50-50 ball, they're going after it. So I think they pose a lot of problems, especially with their athleticism, and also with the fact that, their identity a lot of times is with playing that, physical brand of defense. So we've got to be ready for that.
They get the home field. Is that, we get into high school ball. It obviously is a little bit of an advantage, or more of an advantage at the pro level than the college level. How big is that for a high school team to have the home field advantage there?
There's levels to it. I think, if you're used to having turf all the time and you go to natural grass, I think that's a huge one. we both have kind of the same type of natural grass. It's not the greatest, footing, but it's not terrible. So, as far as lay of the land wise, we're over 50 yards away from their sideline. So crowd wise, it's going to be loud because we're both going to have big crowds there. They do love to play music and stuff like that, keep it as a loud environment. But this generation of kids, I think, enjoys that, and they get a little excited. They have fun with it. So, I think there's an advantage there for them for sure, just because it's home field. That's their territory. Just like when we're at Harmon Field, it's a big advantage for us. I think our stadium, because there's no track and the crowd's right there behind you, it's a little imposing for some teams. And I think at Grove, kind of the way they've laid out their stadium, it's geared towards them, having a little bit of an advantage if they can get one. But really comes down to, and I've told the guys repeatedly, it comes down to, blocking, tackling, and executing is really where it's going to come down to.
And scoring more points.
That's exactly.
JW, go ahead.
I'm just curious, what particular area of Grove's game do you think we will have to put the most effort towards to either get past it or, to stop it completely?
I think it's consistency. They for years they've been so good about making the most out of mistakes. Special teams wise, they've had a lot of games against LCC. They had a blocked punt and they had some big plays. Against Crestview, the Crestview game for them really snowballed because they had a punt return for a touchdown. Kind of what happened the last 2 minutes of our Allen East game. That happened in the first quarter against Crestview, and it was just too much for Crestview to overcome. So I think for us, it's doing what we do well and then not making foolish mistakes that we can't recover from.
Right.
We had talked about one of our things that JW and I have noticed a little bit that's different from the past years, and it's gotten a little bit better, and it got a lot better actually against Allen East was our kickoff coverage, and the fact that we tend to give a little bit more than we normally do. Have you worked with Ethan about maybe doing the different style of kicking to kind of help remedy that, or?
Well, so we work on different placement and things like that. But another part of it is those guys that have been injured are coming back, and we're getting guys back on kickoff. So, I mean, we've had a number of guys that we put on kickoff out of necessity. And then also, with that, you got to give some of the other teams some credit too. They scheme pretty well. But we're starting, we're slowly but surely kind of fixing some problems. We're still not pleased with kind of the amount of yardage we're giving up on it. However, as long as we're having to kick off a lot, that means we're scoring a lot. Which is kind
absolutely,
of nice.
Yeah. You'll take a little bit of bad as long as it means you're scoring a bunch to have to kick it off every time. So I get that. I get that.
And I think Ethan has come in and done a wonderful job this year too. I want to give him some props because, I mean, just the improvement in the way he kicks off from the beginning of the year to now. I mean, we're going to get one of them to check up at about the 1 yard line here real soon, and it's going to be set right up.
Can you talk about? I know we've talked about him a little bit through the year, but from what he is replacing, can you talk about the job that he has done this year? I think it's been a phenomenal job, just like JW just said.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's definitely coming along, especially it's his first year ever doing it. We've been spoiled the past few years. So, 2022 and 2023, Kyle Basil came in, and Kyle was built more like a linebacker. And so not only did he have a great leg, he was an all-state kicker in 2023. But he was one I was like, well, if they get loose, he can definitely tackle them. And
Ethan's done a nice job of that too.
Exactly. So, you look at that, and then Jackson Brown came in as a first year doing it as a senior, and he was, I believe he was NWC Soccer Player of the Year. So we had the top soccer player kicking for us, and he did an outstanding job for us. And then this year with Ethan, I told Ethan, I go, you may have to make a tackle, but I don't know if hopefully you don't. And he's had more tackles than some guys who play varsity defense.
Yes, he has.
And he had a highlight reel hit on one of them. So, he's in regards to kind of embracing that, role of like, I'm the kicker and I'm the last line of defense on a return. Yeah. He's not afraid to go for a tackle. I mean, we definitely don't want him to have to go for a tackle.
Yeah, right. But
he also has some of that awareness to where like he recovered a fumble in a game or a fumble on a kickoff return. So, I think he's kind of embracing the football player lifestyle, I guess, as a kicker. But he's come along. He does a great job, especially for the limited amount of time he's really with us. I mean, I only ask those kickers to come for about 20 minutes, and then after that, they've got to get to soccer practice. They've got soccer games and stuff. So, for the amount of growth he's shown, it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
All right, so we know what the key of keys. It's the line of scrimmage. It's talk about what we have to do to control that line of scrimmage this week.
I think a big part's consistency for us. We can't have 2 really good plays and then take a sack or take a tackle for a loss. Defensively for us, controlling the line of scrimmage is setting an edge and not letting them get a push to where the offensive linemen are getting to our linebackers. Nothing really that complex. I think this game usually comes down to that. It's 2023 when we had 2 one-score games, once in week 10 and once in the regional championship. The line of scrimmage was a huge part of it, and it was pretty much neutral, and that's where it came down to a couple plays. Last year we did not control the line of scrimmage on defense, and they made the most out of it, and they had a pretty big win over us there. So I think for us, just playing consistent and not giving up the big gains with our defensive line, and then offensive line wise, we want to establish the run, but we definitely have to protect the quarterback as well.
Well, it's Grove Week. That should be all we should say. But Coach, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. Best of luck this week. Let's beat the Bulldogs. Let's make them share the conference championship with us.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. JW and I will close up shop, and that'll be it for this week. But we'll take a quick break. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
See you, Jeff.
This time out is sponsored by Sumi Rico, Ohio.
At SRK, we believe in teamwork, growth, and community pride. We're hiring for multiple positions, and now's your chance to be a part of a winning team. We're proud to call Bluffton home and honored to create opportunities for the people who make this community strong. Go Pirates!
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Hey neighbor, how are you? I wanted to tell you about a place where the wifers and I love to go. Hothead Burritos in Wapakoneta, and now Lima brings you amazing food and fast. You can try any of their sauces on a burrito or a bowl. So grab some Hothead Burritos and enjoy the game. Later, Gator. I'll see you in church. Go Pirates!
All right, welcome back to the last leg of the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, Week 10 edition, JW.
Yeah.
It's
crazy,
Grove Week.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
Grove
just
Week.
crazy.
That we're already to Grove Week. It's amazing how quickly a season moves along and how quickly we get to this point. Now the Pirates have officially clinched their playoff position. They are one of, I believe, 6, I think, for the region that have secured a playoff spot. There's a little bit more, and I'm not discounting. It's Grove Week. That's enough. Then you have a potential conference championship that could be up for this, and also with the way the new playoff system is set up. If we win, I think we're on the verge of, and Grove is a great opponent to have a win over.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially going into the last week. That might be enough to catapult us up into that top 4, those top 4 slots, to where we get a bye week for the first week of the playoffs. And I think that would do huge things for our team, getting us a little bit more healthy, but also then the ability to work on some things for at least a week of just what do we need to do.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I mean, a bye week for all the injuries and stuff we have would probably be a blessing, I think, just to get some guys another week of healing in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even the guys that are still going to play against Grove, they might be nicked up enough to where, you know what, that week would be just a blessing to be able to kind of not have to go through a Friday of wear and tear on it and then get another week of practice and preparation for an opponent then, and then you're ready to roll. You've got a little bit extra pop going on. But this week is going to be a very, very taxing mentally, physically on this team. What is your key? We talked to Coach. He says line of scrimmage, and I do agree that that's probably first and foremost the ultimate key. But what's another key that you think really that's what we need to work on too?
Well, I think Grove has just gotten in our heads the last few years. I mean, we just need to go out and play Bluffton style football, and everything else should take care of itself, you know. But they've got to get that out of their head. You know, it doesn't matter what happened in the last few years.
Right.
This is this year. You go out and do your best and get in the playoffs, and you know, who knows? Maybe bring home a championship eventually.
Well, this year, I mean, like last year, this year, this is the only time we'll see these guys. The only time. The only time you get a chance to beat these guys. And so a year's worth of bragging rights when it comes to football. You know, the whole Christmas again or whatever from last year, you know, and it just kind of, you know, grinds on you. I think you're right. It's in their head right now. And sorry, the dog decided she was going to bark while in the office, but it's a mental game, and you know, it's definitely one of those things that this Pirate team is every bit as talented as that Grove team.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of things that you can say preparation wise, physically and game wise. A lot of it's head. A lot of it is a mental game.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to show up and play your game. You know, and you know, this senior class is going to have the most wins of any class ever in Bluffton. And for these seniors to go out with a win against Grove would be just fantastic. I mean, I don't know that they've beat them yet.
I don't believe so.
In high school. So, this is a huge deal for Bluffton.
Yeah, it's definitely something that there's so many incentives to this game, but the one incentive is we can beat Grove.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
At the very least, we keep even if it wasn't, we get a share of it. Let's keep them from getting sole conference championship. Take that part at least.
Yeah,
but definitely it's something that. I agree. There's a mental aspect. I'm not saying that it's completely. You know, there are things that we can do on the field, you know, to stop them. We have to pick and choose our things, but like you said, play our game
Yeah.
And there are a few teams that can beat us. And
yeah,
I think
last year we didn't at all.
Oh,
We
no.
played a horrible game last year against them from start to finish. So
that is by far, and it was not even the fact that it was 42-0. It was by far the worst game I've seen a Bluffton team play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it just seemed like it kept snowballing and getting worse and getting worse. And, you know, then we had to kind of bail out on some of the things that we were used to doing and had to go a different way. And that's where we again, snowballed even more. So
but we turned last season around though. So
we sure did.
You know, we went very deep into the playoffs after getting beat by Grove twice. But
yeah,
hey,
it's not the end of the world to lose, but it sure feels like it at the time.
And I'm sure these seniors are just chomping because they don't want to go out. You know, all their years of high school not beating Grove in a football game. That's
right. Well, it's 2 more sleeps. 2 more sleeps, and we get to Columbus Grove. We'll be at Columbus Grove 55 minutes, so 6:05 we will be live with the Grove Systems of Bluffton kickoff show, followed by X's and O's with Coach Richards, presented by Jason Cox State Farm. And then we wrap up the pre-kick festivities with the Kira's Flipside Grill. Pre-game show leads us all the way up to kickoff. JW, this is a huge week, and
it just biggest game.
Yeah, it feels every bit of it too. It feels every bit as huge as what it actually is. There are a lot of things, but first and foremost, beat Grove.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, that is the end of tonight's Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. For JW Shannon, I'm Sam Sprunger. We will see you on Friday night.